Hey,
You gonna fight Conor
I
McGregor,
told,
dude?
I told Connor,
In the ring, in the octagon, but
I told Connor to himself.
you'll beat his ass.
I said, hell no.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like me and Connor, they called me. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
called me and
Yeah.
they offered me to fight, and I talked. Me and Connor got on the phone and we started politicking. You know, trying to figure something out. And I just told him, man, I'm not getting in no octagon with you, so you can be kicking me and elbowing me and.
Reports say that Terence Crawford has agreed to fight Conor McGregor. Terence Crawford is an undefeated 4-division boxing champion who currently holds the WBA and interim WBO super welterweight titles. Surprisingly, former UFC lightweight champion Conor McGregor almost became one of Crawford's opponents. Crawford said that he and McGregor had talked about a possible fight, with one fight taking place in the boxing ring and the other in the octagon. While Crawford confirmed that he had had direct talks with McGregor to make the fight happen, he ultimately turned down the offer, though he didn't say when they had talked about it. Instead, he explained why he chose not to compete in MMA. I told Conor to himself, I said hell no, they called me. They offered me the fight, me and Conor got on the phone, and we started politicking, you know, trying to figure something out. Crawford told Bernie the Boxer on a YouTube live stream. He further added, I just told him, man, I'm not getting in no octagon with you so you can be kicking me and elbowing me and shit. He gets to laughing and shit, and he's like, man, I respect that because you respect my sport just like I respect your sport. And you understand that if you get in the octagon with me, you're going to be at a disadvantage. Just like if I get in the boxing ring with you, I'm going to be at a disadvantage. The famous McGregor knew that he couldn't do the fight because of his health, but Crawford said that the Irishman tried to appeal to his bank account, saying, but we'll make a ton of money. Crawford laughed as he thought about what McGregor had said. I said, yeah, sometimes it ain't about the money. I can make money, but you ain't about to be kicking me, dude. Those kicks and elbows, that shit ain't no joke. Crawford is making a lot of money in boxing, and a fight between him and Conor McGregor could have made a lot of money if everyone agreed to it. McGregor's fight with Floyd Mayweather in 2017 showed how profitable these kinds of events can be, but Crawford would rather build his fighting career than fight in an MMA fight. Showdown Crawford is looking forward to a fight with Canelo Alvarez after his impressive win over Israel Madrimov in August. However, for now, talks have not moved forward. Crawford might face Sebastian Fonder next. If they fight, Crawford would have a good chance to win 3 of the 4 154-pound bouts. Conor McGregor last stepped into the octagon in July 2021 at UFC 264, where a first-round TK loss to Dustin Poirier ended in a devastating leg break, though he later coached against Michael Chandler on The Ultimate Fighter and voiced his desire for a comeback. There's still no clear sign of when or if he'll return to racing. Toolbits made waves in the media after sealing a relationship with Conor McGregor following his live streaming debut on May 20th. The UFC's first simultaneous 2-division champion brought his star power to the crypto-centric platform in another show while captivating audiences with his charisma. McGregor also let slip some intriguing details. Viewers soon discovered that the MMA icon had been negotiating with boxing sensation Terence Crawford, hinting at a major collaboration in the works. Conor McGregor, widely known as the Notorious, is no stranger to boxing. His blockbuster fight with Floyd Mayweather Jr. remains one of the highest-grossing matches in the sport's history. Speculation about his return to the ring has lingered ever since, though nothing solid has materialized until now. The Irishman couldn't stop praising Crawford's boxing skills, but seemed less pleased with Alvarez. He also highlighted Bud's talents beyond the ring, especially his wrestling abilities, said the Notorious. You know, they're always talking to me about bouts. I've already boxed a boxer. MMA is me. He claims to be the top boxer in the mixed martial arts world, capable of throwing punches with crushing power, he said, so I talked to Crawford back and forth. It's like a 2-fight deal. Recalling the whole talk with Terence Crawford, McGregor added, Crawford, they're here talking about you and me fighting. 2 fights, MMA first, boxing second. I know you have an extensive wrestling background and balls the size of a Bengal tiger. They're asking for a fight. It's going to be hundreds of millions on the line. What's up? The former UFC featherweight and lightweight champion noticed that Terence Crawford didn't seem especially enthusiastic about the idea. He goes, I don't fancy taking a kickoff. Conor McGregor, that's what he said. You have to accept that McGregor said. Conor McGregor previously expressed his opinions about the upcoming Dimitri Bivol vs. Artur Beterbiev match. Similar to others, he believed this would be a unique situation featuring two of the industry's top talents. During the conversation, the former UFC champion veered off the main subject and shared insights about his recent investment in the bare-knuckle fighting championship. He said, "It's a different world without the gloves," but he quickly recovered, pointing out that the Bivol Beterbiev fight will be a cracking one. He kindly attributed the success of these extraordinary events to His Excellency Turki Alalshik, the head of Riyadh Season. Still, a matchup between McGregor and Crawford would have been nothing short of spectacular. Time and again, highlights of Bud showcasing his impressive grappling skills have captured widespread attention. But will that be enough to endure the relentless assault inside the octagon? Similarly, while McGregor has his fair share of experience with gloves, can he truly survive the onslaught from a pound-for-pound elite boxer? More than 3 years removed from his last bout, Conor McGregor stays focused on his much-anticipated UFC comeback, while his passion for boxing hasn't waned despite being tied to a UFC contract. The Notorious keeps stirring up excitement, hinting at potential blockbuster fights across the world of combat sports. During a recent livestream with his sports betting partner, Tool Bits, Conor McGregor responded to a fan's question about boxing, revealing that promoters are constantly reaching out to him about possible matchups. McGregor, proclaiming himself as the sport's biggest attraction, shared that he had been in talks for a two-fight crossover event with Terence Crawford. The proposal looked for one bout in boxing and another in MMA, but according to McGregor, Crawford turned down the offer.
Crawford is very slick. He also has a wrestling pedigree. So we're talking back and forth. It's like a two-fight deal. Like Crawford, they're talking to me here about you and me. A two-fight deal, MMA first, boxing second. I said, I know you have an extensive background and balls the size of a Bengali tiger. They're asking for a fight. It's going to be hundreds of millions on the line. What's up? And he goes, I don't want to take a kick, or I don't fancy taking a kick off Conor McGregor, he said. I don't know what's happening. There's loads of things on the table. Very exciting announcements are coming from McGregor Sports and Entertainment and Riyadh Season. Very, very huge.
Rumors of a potential crossover bout with the pound-for-pound top boxer didn't spark the enthusiasm McGregor likely expected. Instead of generating hype, the 36-year-old fighter faced backlash, with many fans accusing him of either fabricating the claim or issuing yet another false promise. One fan jokingly accused McGregor of being on coke, noting he's coked to his gills. Others commented Conor doesn't fancy a punch from Terence, he's so full of it, all he does is talk. Now should Conor McGregor make his way back into the fighting ring, it would mark only his second bout in the sport, despite having just a 0-1 record in professional boxing. The Notorious was at the center of one of the most monumental spectacles in combat sports history during his sole fight in 2017. McGregor persuaded the UFC to join in a rare co-promotion for his high-profile bout against Floyd Mayweather Jr. in Las Vegas. The event drew around 4 million pay-per-view buys, ensuring its status as one of the most lucrative in sports history. McGregor may have lost the fight by a 10th round TKO, but his enduring star power makes him a magnetic force in the sport. As part owner of the BKFC, the Irishman's name frequently surfaces in discussions about the promotion, adding to his undeniable impact. On the other hand, Chris Eubank Jr. has his eyes on a possible huge crossover boxing clash with Conor McGregor. Eubank Jr., one of the most prominent figures in British boxing, is set to return from a year-long hiatus with a highly anticipated fight against Kamil Sharamito on October 12th. In recent months, he has been in talks with a lineup of superstar names, exploring the possibility of blockbuster fights, including matchups with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. He has now made the startling revelation that a possible showdown with UFC superstar McGregor could be on the horizon. Eubank Jr. revealed that discussions began after he and his future opponent crossed paths and celebrated together during their first meeting in Dubai. This was a crazy night out in Dubai. Conor was very drunk, and we had a great time. You know, there's actually been talk of me and him actually having a boxing match at some point. The fans have said that they want to see that. How interesting that would be. That's definitely something that I'm open to exploring. Let's just say that. A matchup between Eubank Jr. and McGregor would surely capture attention, though next Gannon would likely be the overwhelming favorite to claim victory. This meeting stands out as one of the more plausible crossovers, especially since McGregor has considered making a comeback to the UFC on 170 pounds, a weight that is certainly within reach for the British fighter. McGregor has stepped into the boxing ring before, where he faced off against Floyd Mayweather in 2017. That match became the second highest grossing pay-per-view event in history, but finally McGregor fell short. He's a major figure in the sport, and his return to boxing for a second professional match would surely generate considerable excitement and attention, given that he has hinted at a potential future transition to his own bare-knuckle boxing promotion. BKFC is most definitely not ruled out. The Irish celebrity broke his leg in a UFC loss to Dustin Poirier, and he hasn't participated in combat sports since 2021. He was supposed to face Michael Chandler in July, but a broken toe forced him to pull out of the match. As of now, he hasn't confirmed a new date or opponent for his return. However, UFC veteran Mike Brown firmly thinks that McGregor will not make a comeback to combat sports due to his injuries. Brown said, "I was never confident before that he would come back. It didn't shock me when I saw he was out of this fight with Chandler. No, I'm still on that same train. He's not ever coming back. I say the same thing I said before. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope I'm wrong." He further added, "I would like to see Conor fight again. I would like to see him do a real training camp with real training partners, push himself hard, and go back to the great Conor that he was before. I would love to see that. I think a lot of people would love to see that. It's not happening." Boxing fans are also desperate to see Crawford matched against Canelo Alvarez. However, one man who faced both of them has accused the Mexican of being too scared to take on Crawford in August. Crawford moved up to the 154-pound division to face Israel Madrimov, eventually claiming the WBA Super Welterweight Championship. It was anticipated that the 34-year-old Alvarez will meet the 4-weight world champion in a highly anticipated bout. Canelo concentrated on Edgar Berlanga, but Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Sheikh stated he would not go through with the bout in September. The 168-pound champion faced off against Berlanga to protect his WBA, WBC, and WBO crowns. Moreover, Amir Khan, a former world champion in the unified light welterweight class, says that Alvarez avoided the 37-year-old Crawford. "It's going to be a great test for Crawford," he told Boxing News. He added both fighters have been looking great, so I think it's an amazing fight. Respect to Crawford for getting out and taking that fight because he doesn't need to. He can still make big money fighting elsewhere. It seems to me that Canelo is scared and doesn't want to fight him with all these reasons he's coming out with. But what a fight it would be. In order to fight Canelo in 2016, KH went up to weight classes to 155 pounds. In the 6th, a vicious right hand left him unconscious, leaving Alvarez terrified for his opponent, Amir Khan. "He scared me a little. I felt a bit worried," Canelo told Dayon. 6 years later, he added, "I actually went over to see if he was okay. It was the natural response. The knockout was too strong. And on top of that, when he fell to the ground, he twisted his neck badly, so I thought something more than a knockout had happened." Crawford stopped KH with a controversial low blow. 3 years later, meanwhile, Ryan Garcia has blasted Terence Crawford and claimed he has the tools to beat him in a mega fight. Garcia got a 1-year ban from boxing after failing to tests following his controversial victory over Devin Haney. Despite this setback, he continues to play an important role in the current boxing scene. He has already started evaluating his choices for a comeback in 2025 with a possible sequel against his fierce rival Haney on the table. In his recent live stream on Sunday, Garcia announced his desire to face 4-weight world champion Crawford. If his opponent accepted to the fight, he would be given his greatest cash chance to date. King Ryan told fans, "But Crawford, I called him out, but he only wants to fight Canelo. I don't think he's as clever as people think. I feel like Terence Crawford is overrated. I'll beat the shit out of him. I would actually fight him. I would go in there and give it all my all. He's boring. I would probably give him the biggest payday of his life if he took that fight." Crawford recently chose to ascend to the super welterweight category, where he triumphed over Israel Madrimov, securing his status as a world champion in his 4th weight class. He has clearly stated his goal of facing Canelo Alvarez next, which will likely require him to bulk up to 168 pounds. Alvarez has not yet agreed to the matchup, but Saudi boxing leader, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, is definitely interested, understanding the significant commercial potential involved. A meeting between Garcia and Crawford seems exceedingly unlikely notwithstanding its marketability. Garcia has been actively competing in the super lightweight division, making it unlikely that Crawford would contemplate dropping back down in weight, especially given that at the age of 37, but is nearing the end of his illustrious career in the squared circle. In a major indication of what lies ahead for Crawford, his trainer, Brian McIntyre, often referred to as Bomac, says that a bout against Alvarez would serve as a fitting climax to his career. He said, "But has got it in him to beat Canelo. I can see him doing it. Is it a test for him? Of course. Is it a challenge for the whole team? Of course. But that's what we're in the business for. Being great. I know that Bud has the tools to beat him. If Bud beats Canelo, we may damn near retire it if you beat the pound-for-pound king, but my mind is on Nadarmov. On the other hand, it appears that Mike Tyson isn't a fan of Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. His Excellency, Turki Alalshik, the chief of Saudi boxing, is currently planning a spectacular match between the two legendary champions. The head of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority has long been eager for a high-stakes boxing showdown. At the pinnacle of his wish list, he even attempted to extend an offer to both fighters prior to Canelo's most recent match against Edgar Berlanga. A miscommunication between His Excellency Alalshik and Canelo resulted in the withdrawal of the planned match, but it seems to have resurfaced for consideration once more. "Canelo, come on, we are ready," said His Excellency Alalshik in a video message to Canelo. Following his clear decision win over Berlanga earlier this month, Crawford concurred, "You heard it from him. Just put me in the game. Canelo Crawford is the biggest fight in boxing, but we stay ready. That way we don't have to get ready." Although Crawford is eager to finalize the fight, former heavyweight world champion Tyson thinks it spells trouble for Bud. "I don't like that fight," Tyson told him to come and talk to me. He added too much weight for Crawford. He had a close fight with the last guy he faced, Israel Madrimov. Because he was big and really awkward, he shouldn't have even fought that guy. Crawford is presently fighting in the super welterweight division, which is two weight classes below Canelo, the current champion of the WBA, WBC, and WBO super middleweight titles. The Omaha heavyweight debuted in August at 154 pounds, winning by unanimous decision over Israel Madrimov. He was given the WBO temporary super welterweight title and the WBA super welterweight belt. As a result, His Excellency Crawford is primarily interested in boxing. Canelo Alalshik maintains that he has other options. On August 28, the WBO mandated that Crawford go head-to-head with Sebastian Fonder, the reigning WBO and WBC world champion, in a highly anticipated unification fight. Please be informed that the parties herein have 30 days upon issuance to reach an agreement. WBO Championship Committee Chairman Luis Batista said, in an official letter, that he added if a court is not made within the time frame stated herein, a purse bid will be ordered. If an agreement isn't made, it's been reported that the starting bid for the fight will be set at $200,000. Terence Crawford recently shared his experience of loudly confronting Teofimo Lopez during the boxing match between Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga. He criticized Lopez for his disrespectful demeanor and stated his desire for a fight against him to provide some background. Crawford and Lopez have been involved in a heated exchange for quite a while, showing little respect for one another following Crawford's unanimous decision victory against Israel Madrimov earlier this year. Lopez urged Bud to steer clear of a super fight with Alvarez, arguing that the undisputed welterweight champion was past his prime and no longer suited for high-stakes matchups. Considering their earlier exchanges this year, where Lopez criticized Crawford for constantly facing injured opponents, it's no surprise their rivalry nearly escalated into a public altercation at the Alvarez-Berlanga fight. Crawford appeared to confront Lopez about his disrespectful comment, even seeming to tap his head in a provocative way during a recent interview with Bernie. The fighter Crawford addressed their little fracas during the event and said, "It's the way that you go about getting a fight as a man. You're not about to disrespect me. I'm not insulting you as a man. This little fuck is just rude. I saw him at the fight. He looked at me, and he was playing because he thinks everything's a game. He doesn't understand that I'll beat the fuck out of him." During the same conversation, Terence Crawford revealed why he rejected a proposal to face Conor McGregor in a dual boxing and MMA matchup. The champion boxer expressed his reluctance to endure strikes from kicks and elbows within the realm of mixed martial arts. In a recent chat with Bernie the boxer, but shared insights about his discussions with McGregor regarding a possible fight deal. He expanded on the reasons behind his decision to turn down the offer. However, it appears that Conor McGregor has his sights set on Canelo Alvarez, one of the biggest names in boxing, amid growing calls for Alvarez to take on the tough challenger David Benavidez. The 34-year-old champion has chosen to chase safer fights, all while cashing in on significant earnings on social media. Former UFC 228 champion Conor McGregor hinted that Alalshik might have totally moved on from Canelo. The Irish star criticized Canelo's marketability on X, pointing out that he lacks the UFC's attraction value. McGregor wrote that Canelo is a cornflake. He has about 3 OK pay-per-view buys in him. He does not generate anything near what he wants to be paid. UFC NOS is going to run them from the strip. Sheikh Turki was right. Moving on, Canelo doesn't sell it. In reaction to McGregor's comments, Alvarez spoke out during a pre-fight press conference, implying that McGregor's comments were meant to back UFC President Dana White. Conor is helping Dana White with selling the UFC, which is why he is saying that he knows that he's my son. Alvarez stated in Spanish to the media that reports suggest that Alvarez racked up 500,000 pay-per-view buys in his recent bout with Jaime Munguia, raised concerns that the Mexican superstar is struggling to make enough revenue to support his hefty purse requirements. The boxing world is rife with speculation regarding possible blockbuster matches with David Benavidez or Terence Crawford, yet both bouts seem unlikely at this point as Alvarez has shown no inclination to step into the ring with either fighter. Turki Alalshik, the Saudi Arabian advisor renowned for his role in rejuvenating boxing, seems to have pivoted away from facilitating a possible match between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. For now, it looks like he won't be working with the Mexican boxing icon anytime soon. Alalshik has made significant strides to elevate boxing by providing lucrative purses to draw top talent. However, he has faced hurdles, especially in orchestrating high-stakes bouts featuring Alvarez and Gervonta Tank Davis. The future of these much-anticipated matches hangs in the balance. The world of combat sports is paying close attention as the rivalry between boxing and the UFC escalates, with McGregor and Alvarez at the center of the most recent altercation.
I think of Conor calling you out, Conor McGregor.
So guys, he's crazy. Would you take Crawford at 58? No more questions?
Canelo, would you fight Conor if you wanted to?
Conor?
Yeah.
Maybe when I retire.
More than 7 years ago, Conor McGregor entered the ring for his boxing debut in what was called the biggest fight in combat sports history against the legendary Floyd Mayweather, widely regarded as one of the greatest of all time. Fast forward to today, after a lengthy hiatus from both boxing and the UFC, the notorious fighter is reportedly gearing up for a return to the boxing scene with rumors swirling about a potential matchup against a controversial British opponent. The Mayweather-McGregor showdown is destined to be remembered as one of the most eagerly awaited and expertly marketed events in history. It achieved remarkable success, racking up 4.3 million pay-per-view sales, making it the second highest of all time, surpassed only by the legendary Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. The bout, however, proved to be somewhat uneventful as Mayweather displayed his dominance throughout, delivering a masterclass in boxing before eventually stopping the Irishman in the 10th round. By that stage, any fleeting moments of brilliance from the debutant during the initial exchanges had long been overshadowed since his loss in 2017. McGregor has not stepped back into the boxing ring and has only fought for more times in the octagon, suffering stoppage losses in 3 of those matches. However, the thought of returning to the Queensberry rules has consistently lingered for many prominent figures in combat sports history. Recently, Terence Crawford and Jake Paul have emerged as the latest contenders, sparking discussions about a possible comeback.
What I really want is Conor.
The
I'll put
ideal
the nail
order?
in his casket.
Ideally, if you could have it your way, is it Nate, Tommy, Conor? Is KSI anywhere in that equation
Well, if
anymore?
KSI fights Tommy, he's gonna get knocked out.
Yep.
I guess it's all kind of in the air. Time will tell.
Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you like this one.